If you are over 60 and someone told you that taking magnesium glycinate together with vitamin D3 and K2 is one of the best things you can do for your health, I need you to stop and hear this before you take another dose. Because what looks like one of the smartest supplement decisions you can make at your age can, under very specific circumstances, quietly create a chain of events inside your body that leads somewhere none of us want to go. I'm not talking about a rare reaction. I am not talking about worst case theoretical scenarios. I am talking about something I have watched happen to real people who were doing everything right, people who read the articles, bought the good brands, followed the advice, and still ended up with a problem that should never have happened because nobody gave them the complete picture. In the next 14 minutes, I am going to show you exactly why this 3-supplement combination carries hidden risks that are almost never discussed, what happens inside the aging body when these 3 nutrients interact, and the specific protocol that actually makes this combination safe and effective for people over 60. This information could genuinely protect your heart, your kidneys, and your long-term health. Stay with me. Before we go any further, I want you to do something right now. Drop a comment below with just 3 things: your age, which of these 3 supplements you are currently taking, and whether you are on any prescription medication. Just that. I want to see who is in this conversation because what I am about to share applies very differently depending on whether you are 62 or 78, and whether you are taking 1 blood pressure pill or 5. And if you have ever felt unusually tired, mentally foggy, or noticed your heart skipping a beat after starting a new supplement routine, add the word signal to your comment. That detail matters more than you realize, and you will understand exactly why in about 4 minutes. Here is a scene that plays out every single week. A 71-year-old woman, generally healthy, had her annual checkup 6 months ago. Her doctor mentioned her vitamin D was low. A friend told her magnesium would help with her sleep and her leg cramps. She read online that K2 is essential to take alongside D3. So she went to the health food store, bought all 3, and started taking them together every morning. 3 months later, she is in her doctor's office complaining of fatigue, mild confusion, and occasional heart palpitations. Her doctor runs basic blood work. Her calcium is elevated. Her kidney function markers have shifted. Nobody immediately connects it to the supplement stack she started 3 months ago because nobody asked the right question. She was not doing anything reckless. She was being proactive. She was doing what millions of people over 60 are doing right now at this exact moment based on well-intentioned but incomplete advice. The problem is not that magnesium glycinate is dangerous. It is not. The problem is not that vitamin D3 is harmful. It is one of the most important nutrients in the human body. And the problem is not that vitamin K2 is a bad idea. It is genuinely remarkable when used correctly. The problem is the interaction, the compounding effect, the specific way these 3 nutrients amplify each other inside an aging body that is metabolizing everything differently than it did 20 years ago. Research on nutrient interaction in older adults has clearly shown that what is appropriate for a 45-year-old is not automatically appropriate for a 70-year-old. The physiology is fundamentally different, and yet the advice given is almost always identical. That gap between what the science shows and what people are actually being told is where the real risk lives. Now, if you are someone who wants to understand the why behind the risk, not just a list of warnings, then what I am about to explain will completely change how you think about supplementation. After 60, your body at 70 is not just an older version of your body at 45. 3 fundamental changes have occurred that directly determine how this supplement combination behaves inside you. The first change is kidney filtration decline. Your glomerular filtration rate, the measure of how efficiently your kidneys are clearing waste and excess minerals from your blood, decreases naturally with age. Even without any diagnosed kidney condition, a 70-year-old typically has 30 to 40% less filtering capacity than a 40-year-old. Magnesium is cleared almost entirely through the kidneys. Think of it like a drainage system, gradually narrowing over decades. When the drain is slower and you keep pouring water in, the level rises. Excess magnesium accumulates in the bloodstream, a condition called hypermagnesemia, and the early symptoms, fatigue, brain fog, slight muscle weakness, look so much like normal aging that most people never trace it back to the supplement at all. The second change is how vitamin D activates calcium absorption. Vitamin D3's primary job is to tell your intestines to pull more calcium out of everything you eat. In a younger body with robust kidney and arterial function, that extra calcium gets managed efficiently. In an older body where arterial walls are less flexible and the kidneys are already working harder, excess circulating calcium has fewer safe places to go. It begins depositing in arterial walls, in heart valves, and soft tissues. This process, vascular calcification, is one of the key mechanisms behind cardiovascular disease in older adults. It happens silently. There is no pain. There is no early warning signal. It builds quietly over months and years. The third change is the magnesium vitamin D amplification loop. This is the piece almost nobody explains. Magnesium is required to activate vitamin D inside the body. Vitamin D undergoes two conversion steps, one in the liver, one in the kidneys, and both of those reactions depend on magnesium-dependent enzymes. So when you take magnesium alongside vitamin D3, you are not just taking two supplements. You are supercharging the activation of vitamin D, which then drives even greater calcium absorption than the D3 alone would have produced. If your K2 is not adequately redirecting all of that amplified calcium into your bones, you are now flooding your bloodstream with mineral that has nowhere constructive to go. These are not small differences. These are fundamental changes that demand a completely different approach. And yet the guidelines most people are following were written without fully accounting for them. Let us start with magnesium glycinate, because this is the one that has become enormously popular in the last few years. And for genuinely good reasons. Magnesium glycinate is one of the most bioavailable forms of magnesium available. Unlike magnesium oxide, which your gut absorbs poorly and which causes the digestive discomfort many people experience, glycinate is bound to the amino acid glycine. That bond makes it gentle on the stomach and significantly more absorbable. Glycine itself has calming properties, which is why this form is particularly effective for sleep quality, muscle relaxation, leg cramps, and the anxiety and restlessness that tend to become more prominent after 60. Magnesium is involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in the human body: nerve transmission, muscle contraction, blood pressure regulation, blood sugar control, protein synthesis. It is not optional, it is essential. And studies consistently show that somewhere between 50 and 80% of older adults are not getting sufficient magnesium from diet alone. So yes, supplementing makes sense for most people in this age group. Here's where the first problem begins. Because magnesium is excreted almost entirely through the kidneys, the reduced kidney function that comes naturally with aging creates a situation where magnesium can accumulate to levels that become problematic. A 22 analysis published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that hypermagnesemia, excess magnesium in the blood, was present in 6.5% of adults over 65 who were regularly taking magnesium supplements, even at doses considered standard for younger adults. The early symptoms are easy to miss: a slight increase of fatigue, a mild mental fogginess, a general sense of not feeling quite right. As levels continue to rise, blood pressure drops, heart rhythm becomes irregular, and in severe cases, the cardiovascular system becomes unable to maintain stable function. The fix is not to avoid magnesium. The fix is to start with 200 milligrams of elemental magnesium per day, not the 400 or 500 milligrams that many products suggest, and to have kidney function and serum magnesium levels checked before starting and periodically afterward. This simple step changes everything. Now let us layer vitamin D3 into this picture, because this is where the interaction starts to become genuinely complex. Vitamin D deficiency is an epidemic in older adults. When you are past 60, your skin becomes less efficient at synthesizing vitamin D from sunlight exposure. Reduced outdoor activity, dietary limitations, and changes in gut absorption all compound the problem. Low vitamin D is associated with increased fracture risk, weakened immune function, cognitive decline, elevated cardiovascular risk, and a significantly higher all-cause mortality rate. Taking supplemental D3 is not just reasonable. For most people over 60, it is essential. But here is what the supplement store display does not explain. Vitamin D3's primary role in calcium metabolism is to dramatically increase the amount of calcium your intestines absorb from food and supplements. Under normal circumstances, this is beneficial. Your bones need calcium, your muscle and nerve function depends on it, but when you are taking higher doses of D3, and most older adults with depleted levels are advised to take between 2,000 and 5,000 IU per day, the amount of calcium being pulled into circulation can exceed what your body can safely manage. A 2021 study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism followed 3,842 adults over 60 taking supplemental vitamin D3 for 12 months. Those taking doses above 2,000 IU daily without concurrent K2 showed a measurable increase in arterial calcification markers at the 12-month follow-up. Not dramatic, not immediately dangerous, but measurable, progressive, and silent. When calcium circulates in excess without proper direction, it does what minerals do when they have no specific destination. It deposits where it should not: artery walls, heart valves, kidney tubules, soft tissue. This is vascular calcification, and it is one of the most underappreciated contributors to cardiovascular disease in the population over 65. The critical variable here is dose. 1,000 IU daily for someone with mildly low vitamin vitamin D is a fundamentally different intervention than 5,000 IU daily for someone severely deficient. And yet both are sold in the same supplement aisle without any guidance on which situation you're actually in. Test first. Know your 25 hydroxy vitamin D level. Then dose based on your actual deficiency, not based on what the label suggests. This is the part that most people think they already understand, and most of them are missing the most important detail. Vitamin K2 activates two proteins that are critical for calcium management. Osteocalcin pulls calcium into your bones and teeth where it belongs. Matrix GLA protein prevents calcium from depositing in your arteries and soft tissues where it does not belong. In theory, D3 increases calcium absorption and K2 directs it to the bones rather than the arteries. A beautifully coordinated system. The problem is what comes after that explanation, which almost nobody mentions. K2's effectiveness depends entirely on the form, the dose, and whether your medications allow it to function at all. There are two primary forms. MK4 is cleared from your system within hours. A single daily dose provides only a brief window of activity. MK7 remains active for 24 to 48 hours, providing consistent coverage. Most quality supplements use MK7. If your product uses MK4, or if the dose is too low, the calcium redirecting proteins remain partially inactive, and the protection you believe you have is incomplete. Now here's the most critical issue. If you are taking warfarin, and a significant percentage of adults over 65 are, for atrial fibrillation, DVT history, or mechanical heart valves, vitamin K2 directly interferes with how that medication works. Warfarin functions by blocking the recycling of vitamin K to reduce clotting. Supplemental K2 works against that mechanism. Your INR, the measure of how quickly your blood clots, can shift unpredictably. Too high means dangerous bleeding risk. Too low means dangerous clotting risk. Both outcomes are life-threatening, and the shift happens gradually, silently, with no sensation whatsoever. If you are on any vitamin K-sensitive medication, this conversation with your prescribing physician is not optional. It is not a detail you can manage by starting with a lower dose. Let me now show you what happens when all three of these interact simultaneously inside a 68-year-old body that is also managing 2 or 3 prescription medications. Think of it like a water supply system with 3 independent valves. Each valve on its own is manageable. Open all 3 simultaneously, and the pressure in the pipes changes in ways no individual valve was designed to handle. Magnesium activates the enzymes that convert vitamin D3 into its active hormonal form. More magnesium means more efficient D3 activation. More activated D3 means a stronger calcium absorption signal sent to your intestines. More absorbed calcium means more mineral entering your bloodstream at once. If K2 is present at the right dose in the right form, and your medications are not interfering with it, the calcium gets redirected into bones. If any one of those conditions is not met, wrong K2 form, insufficient dose, warfarin interference, the calcium circulates without adequate direction. Meanwhile, magnesium and calcium compete for absorption through the same gut transport mechanisms. If you take magnesium glycinate alongside a calcium-rich meal, both minerals are absorbed suboptimally. Unpredictable levels of both, and an aging body cannot run its mineral balancing systems efficiently when the inputs are chaotic. Add the medication landscape. Thiazide diuretics, commonly prescribed for blood pressure, reduce the kidney's ability to excrete calcium, combined with D3-driven calcium absorption. This pushes serum calcium toward hypercalcemia. The symptoms, confusion, excessive thirst, nausea, irregular heartbeat, arrive gradually and get attributed to aging or stress, long before blood work reveals the actual cause. Loop diuretics, prescribed for heart failure, cause the body to excrete magnesium. Someone taking furosemide may genuinely need supplemental magnesium, but the dose they need is entirely different from someone on no diuretics at all. This is not complicated chemistry. This is the basic reality of polypharmacy in an aging body, and it is exactly why the one-size-fits-all supplement advice circulating online is so genuinely inadequate. Now, I want to be completely clear about something, because this is the point where too many health videos leave people feeling frightened and confused. The answer is not to avoid these 3 nutrients. The answer is to use them correctly. Magnesium deficiency accelerates nerve damage, worsens insulin resistance, and degrades sleep quality. Vitamin D deficiency weakens immunity, accelerates bone loss, and increases all-cause mortality. K2 deficiency allows calcium to deposit in arteries, while leaving bones undermineralized. All 3 of these are real problems with real consequences for people over 60. What I am telling you is not to put these supplements back on the shelf. I am telling you that your age, your kidney function, your medication list, and your current nutrient levels are the variables that determine whether this combination helps you or quietly harms you. And those variables are knowable. Feeling fine is not the same as being fine. The early stages of hypercalcemia are silent. The gradual accumulation of arterial calcium does not announce itself with pain. Declining kidney function does not come with a warning sound. Your body cannot tell you what your serum calcium level is, but a simple blood panel can catch a problem before it becomes a crisis. That is the difference between proactive and passive. You are already being proactive by being here, by learning this. The next step is simply to take that knowledge into a medical conversation and insist on the baseline numbers before you continue. Let me give you a concrete, specific protocol, because general advice is not what you came here for. The first step, before anything else, is baseline testing. Before you continue with any of these 3 supplements, ask your doctor for a serum magnesium level, and if possible, a red blood cell magnesium level, which reflects intracellular status more accurately than serum alone. Ask for a 25-hydroxy vitamin D status, the standard measure of vitamin D status, and request a comprehensive metabolic panel covering serum calcium, creatinine, BUN, and basic liver function. These tests are standard, inexpensive, and widely covered. Without these numbers, you are dosing blind. The second step is adjusting doses based on your actual blood work, not the label. For magnesium glycinate, start at 200 milligrams of elemental magnesium per day. Not 400, not 500, 200. This delivers meaningful benefit for most people over 60 while remaining within the safety margin for aging kidneys. Your doctor may recommend more if deficiency is significant and kidney function is strong. But 200 is the appropriate starting point. For vitamin D3, target a blood level of 40 to 60 nanograms per milliliter. If you are currently below 30, you likely need 2,000 to 4,000 IU daily. If you are between 30 and 40, 1,000 IU for maintenance may be sufficient. Retest in 8 to 12 weeks. Absorption efficiency varies considerably between individuals. For vitamin K2, if you are not on warfarin or any case-sensitive medication, 100 to 200 micrograms of MK7 daily is the range most consistently supported by the research. Check your label specifically for MK7, not MK4. The third step is timing. Vitamin D3 and K2 are both fat soluble. Take them together with your largest meal of the day, the one most likely to contain dietary fat. Magnesium glycinate belongs in the evening, 1 to 2 hours before bed. This separation eliminates the competition between magnesium and calcium for gut absorption and allows magnesium's calming effect to work precisely when you need it most. The fourth step is bringing your complete supplement list to your next medical appointment. Not just these 3, but everything. Ask your doctor or pharmacist to review for interactions with your current prescriptions. Most drug supplement interaction tools are available free online. Use them as a starting point. Your physician provides a clinical context to interpret the results correctly. Here is what you now know that most people taking these supplements do not. You know that magnesium amplifies vitamin D activation, and that this amplification can supercharge calcium absorption beyond what aging kidneys and arteries can safely handle. You know that vitamin K2's protective role depends entirely on the form, the dose, and the absence of pharmaceutical interference. You know that this combination behaves differently in a 70-year-old than in a 45-year-old. Not because the nutrients changed, but because the body processing them has. And you know that silent is not the same as safe. The early damage from hypercalcemia and vascular calcification accumulates without symptoms. Regular monitoring eliminates most of that risk before it becomes a crisis. You are not fragile. You are not someone who must avoid these nutrients. You are someone who now understands the complete picture, and that changes everything. Drop a comment right now saying informed if this gave you something real today. That word tells me this information is reaching the people who need it. Think of one person you know who is taking this combination right now without this knowledge. Send them this video today, not later, today. That single action may be more meaningful for their health than anything else you do this week. Subscribe to this channel. Every week, the goal is the same. Give you the kind of honest, research-grounded information that most people only encounter after something has already gone wrong. You deserve to have it before that happens. In the next video, we are going to examine the 5 most common blood pressure medications and the nutrient depletions they cause over time. Depletions most prescribing physicians never mention. If you are over 60 and on any blood pressure medication, that video may be the most important one you watch this year. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended as medical advice. Supplement used, particularly when combined with prescription medications, must be evaluated based on your complete individual health history. Never adjust or discontinue any medication or supplement protocol without first consulting your healthcare provider. The information presented reflects current published research and is intended to support, not replace, a thorough evaluation by a qualified medical professional.